ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः।
Dear friends, welcome back to the study of the Bhagavad Gita. We had just started on the 4th chapter and completed the first 9 shlokas. Before I start, before I have a bird's eye view of the last talk that we had before we had a Christmas vacation, though it is belated, but may I wish you a very happy, based on a spiritually prosperous new year. Let the happiness be based on spiritual prosperity of your life. That is my warm-hearted, unending prayer to the Divine Trinity, so that they may protect us by their compassionate blessings. Thank you, my dear friends. Now, let us get back to our studies. We had completed the study of the 3rd chapter. The 3rd chapter teaches us how to convert our natural flow of life, which is nothing else but assorted types of activity. Life and activity are synonymous. Life and activity are the obverse and reverse of the same coin. And that life flows, thereby activities flow. How to convert that activity into a means to direct an independent realization of the reality, the truth, is a secret. The concept of Karma Yoga teaches you the secret of how to convert your so-called natural flow of life into a devoted, respectful interaction with, mind my words now, with the awareness of presence of God in our life every moment. That is Karma Yoga. Swami Vivekananda ji says that, look, this concept of Karma Yoga, if it can be put into practice without any let, without any hindrance, without any interruption or obstruction, it can be done with a prolonged effort of practicing. And what is practicing? Repetitive, similar activities in the domain of physicality, emotionality, ingenuity and rationality. You continue to be aware of the presence of the divine every moment of your life. That converts the mundane concept of work into a spiritual practice known as Karma Yoga. You are always in communication with the awareness of presence of the divine. We have given our very best to understand the secrets of Karma Yoga and how to put it in our day-to-day practice we have done our very best. And to reinforce these ideas, to have a rock-solid foundation for these ideas, I would request my friends, my listeners, to study Swamiji's book on Karma Yoga, where it has been made absolutely clear as the daylight how we can convert our life into a Karma Yogi's life, whereby we create a direct and an independent means to realization of the divine, that is, developing that awareness through experiencing oneness with the divine. This is the third chapter, the essence of the third chapter. Now, Arjuna is listening with great amazement, great admiration, and an awe. He's absolutely dumbstruck as it were. How come his cousin brother, a few years elder to him, having fun and frolic of life of young children and boys and girls, because boys and youth, as they have grown together, how come this cousin brother of mine, known as Krishna, talks with such an amount of authority, such an amount of authenticity? He is unable to express himself because he is absolutely struck by awe. He has been dumbfounded by surprise. Dumbstruck. So, Sri Krishna, knowing himself what he is, we do not know even today who he is, neither does Arjuna know. Sri Krishna introduces the fourth chapter, whereby he will proclaim to Arjuna, and through Arjuna to the whole world, till posterity like us today, 1,000 years after the event of Kurukshetra, Sri Krishna will expose himself to all of us as what is he, who he is. So he starts the fourth chapter with a very, very, very controversial verse. What does he say? Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Sri Krishna utters. The author, Vyasadeva, knows who Krishna is, so he doesn't say Sri Krishna Uvacha. He says Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. It is a word of God through the form of Krishna. He says, Imam yogam vivashyate prahu proktavan. Imam yogam, this concept of karma yoga and the concept of jnana yoga that I am going to introduce in this chapter, I have spoken to it earlier to Bhivaswan. Bhivaswan is the other name of Aditya or Surya Narayana. Proktavan. What does it Proktavan? He could have said Uktavan. I have said. No, he qualifies the type of speaking. Proktavan. I have spoken to them in such a manner that there was no trace, no iota of doubt left behind. They were totally convinced as to who am I. But I am the absolute, the eternal, the infinite, the immutable. Therefore I am absolute. And I have spoken that real wisdom in a manner that no trace of doubt or hesitancy or suspicion ever remained in my listener's mind, who is Vivaswan, Aditya or Surya. This is the first line of the first shloka of the fourth chapter. I have spoken of this yoga known as Karma Yoga, which is a means to Jnana Yoga and to ultimate realization, and I have spoken in such a manner that there was no trace of hesitancy left in the mind of the listener. And who was the listener? Sridharananda, known as Aditya, known as Vivaswana. This is who I am. And he is telling this to Arjuna, and through Arjuna to the students of the Gita, as long as people want to study it. And what is the next line? Vivaswan manave praho manur ikshaku eva iha abravit. The lineage. Vivaswan spoke to Manu, Manu spoke to Ikshaku, and that is how the traditional wisdom was passed from the teacher to the student, who in due course of time became the teacher and passed it on to the next generation. That is how the parampara, the sequence of this wisdom, was handed over from generation to generation to generation. This is how he starts the fourth chapter. And then he says, look, while it was being transmitted, somehow or other, an element of pollution, an element of adulteration creeped in. Why? The teacher was intellectually capable, but personality-wise, he was not totally saturated with what he was passing rationally. Try to understand. We talk all about philosophical matters, but when it comes to actual performance in my life, I become a victim of any of the 6 propensities: desire, anger, greed and others. Kama, Krodha, Lobha. Moha is confusion. Mother is pride and vanity. And Matsarya is envy, jealousy, rancor, which leads to vengeance. I become a victim of this in my behavior pattern, though I am talking tall intellectually. Now this Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is not acceptable in spiritual life. Whatever you are, you must be honest, sincere and thorough. No showing off business. But we humans, because of our weaknesses of being attracted to the world, we start making compromises, and our personality as it is, our behavior pattern, which is a manifestation of my personality, does not coincide with those lofty philosophical conclusions. This happens in flow of time. Idam parampara, this handing over from generation to generation, this transmission of wisdom from time to time to time, through the process of time, nashta parantapa. Mahati yoga nashta parantapa. Hey Arjuna, it is lost in point of time. Therefore, though I am the immutable absolute, ajo api san abhyatma, that is my true original nature, the absolute, the immutable, the nirguna, nirakara, nirvichara, nirvikalpa Brahma. That is what my true original nature is. But swam prakriti adhishtaya, by having total control of the cosmic energy that is hidden in me, I manifest myself as and when required by the human society in a human form. As because you are totally dedicated to me, you look towards me, you look forward to me to help you with that absolute wisdom so that you can fight your battle of Kurukshetra without being involved and attached as an instrument in the hands of Lord's will. I make you the instrument of my will to correct the imbalance of the present day society. As because you have taken shelter in me, as you have absolutely bartered away yourself to me, Shakha, and etc., therefore I have decided I will share this highly mystic or highly mysterious wisdom which is not available in the marketplace. It's available with me, undiluted, unadulterated, and I will share with you. This is how he completes the third shloka. Now, Arjuna, having heard the whole of the Karma Yoga and these first three shlokas of the fourth chapter, he could not contain himself anymore. He became vocal. He was not struck by awe and he was not dumbstruck. He says, "Dear sir," Arjuna Uvacha, the fourth shloka of the fourth chapter, "Sir, aparam bhavato janma." Sir, you are born a few years before me, and you are here present with me. How come you claim you have spoken this to Vivaswan, Manu, Ikshaku? How come you are talking of the present day, and now you say you are the person who advised it thousands of years ago? Kathametad vijaniyat. How I can convince myself it is you who spoke to them? So, Arjuna now represents our questioning. Who is Krishna? Who is he? What is he? And he says he is this, he is this, he is this, he is this. But from my point of view, as far as flow of time is concerned, time has flown 1,000 years when Krishna of today says he had advised Aditya and Surya Narayana, who conveyed it to Manu, Manu conveyed it to Ikshaku, and Ikshaku conveyed to others. That is how it has come down to us. In the process of coming down to us, it got adulterated, polluted, and lost its strength. That is how in the fourth shloka, Arjuna asked, how come, sir? How do I convince myself? How do I believe that it is you who have done so? Listen to what God replies to him in the fifth shloka. And we have studied it before. I'm having a bird's eye view of all that we have studied. And I'll complete up to the ninth shloka, which is a revision. And from 10th shloka, if I have time today, I'll start on the 10th, or we'll do it the next sitting. Now, in the 5th shloka, Bhagavan Uvacha, Sri Krishna now explains, wants to remove Arjuna's doubt, suspicion, and confusion. Which is it? The concept of time and concept of memory. My memory, your memory, Arjuna's memory does not go beyond this life. What to speak of this life? Probably we have no memory of the first 2 or 3 years of this very life. And Krishna says he knows what he has done before. So now he says, listen to it very carefully. Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacha Arjuna. Hey Arjuna, you and me both have been born over and over and over again in the past. Bahuni, multiple, innumerable. You have been born over and over and over again, and I was also born over and over and over again. Tani aham veda sarvani natvam vetya parantapa. Though you are a mighty person, though you have total control on your senses, on your faculties, on your propensities. 4 faculties: rationality, emotionality, ingenuity, and willpower, determination. And 6 propensities, weaknesses: kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarja. Lust and intense desire, krodha is anger, lobha is greed, mada is vanity, pride, thinking too much of oneself, egoistic, mada, and matsarja, that is jealousy, envy, rancor, vengeance. You have mastered all this, I do admit. But somehow or other, you do not remember anything of your past. But I happen to remember every bit of it. Tani aham veda sarvani. Tani sarvani aham veda. All those events and etc. of the past lives, I know to the last dot and semicolon. Whereas, nattam vetya, you have no idea, no knowledge, no memory of it. This is, Arjuna, the difference between me and your so-called cousin brother, Krishna. Sri Krishna is slowly and slowly enunciating the concept known in Indian philosophy as Avatarvada, the concept of incarnation of the divine contained in a human form without losing its divine qualities. He is introducing that very, very, very important subject, excuse me saying, It is only the Hindu scriptural literature has discussed it threadbare, as a splitting a hair, this concept of avatara, duly supported by facts of history. It is not a woolly-headed idea, not a stretch of imagination, not a fairy tale or an old widow's tale. It is a happening concretized by history. Sri Krishna is now slowly exposing us to the concept of what is an avatara. Avatara means the process of incarnation, process of avatarana, the descent. The high and mighty God of the universe descends in this creation of his in a normal, humble human form without relinquishing all his 6 qualities of Bhagavana. Shara Bhaga Sampanna, one who is bestowed with 6 qualities. What are those 6 qualities? Jnana, Aishwarya, Bala, Virja, Teja. Jnana, Shakti, Bala, Virja, Teja. 6 of them. Jnana, Aishwarya, Shakti, Bala, Virja, Teja. What is that? Jnana. Unflinching, true, penetrative knowledge of everything under the sun. Sarvajna in general, Sarvavit in particular. He knows from A to Z of the whole cosmos because he has designed it, he has planned it, he has programmed it, he has executed it, he is preserving it, and a time may come when he will withdraw it. That is what he is from our point of view. From his point of view, he is the immutable, the infinite, the eternal, the absolute. How does he explain himself in our Sanskrit language? How does the verse go here? The 6th shloka? The 6th shloka says, Ajo api san, though I am birthless. It is a metaphorical, suggestive, symbolic usage of the word. I am never born. That means all that follows after the birth, Shadbhava Vikara, Jayate, I am born, Asti, I exist, Bardhate, I grow, a newborn baby grows into a child, into a boy or a girl, a child, then into adolescence, then into youth, mature youth, then he becomes Pravina, that is nearly plus minus 50, absolutely mature, then he starts mutating, good and bad, good and bad. Then the degeneration starts taking place. Ultimately, he disintegrates and goes back to nature. 5 elements of nature and 5 or 6 natural forces of the world. Air, water, ether, fire, earth. He says, I am that eternal. This is for us to remember. Now, as students of philosophy, he is saying he is Nirgun, Nirakara, Nirvikalpa, Brahma. Ajaha. Though I am that, what do I do with myself? Prakritim Swam Adhishtaya, the cosmic energy which is within me, not to be seen by anybody. I take control of that energy in me. Prakritim Swam Adhishtaya Bhutanam Ishwaropi San. I become Saguna Sakara Savikalpa Brahma, which is Parama Ishvara, the sublime supreme being. I become that by my force of Maya, which is hidden in me. It is under my thumb. It doesn't overrule me. It is slave to me, but it has overruled you and me and others. We are under the thumb of Maya. We are Maya Adhina, Prakriti Adhina. We are under thumb of it. But he is Maya Adhisha, and beyond that, Maya Atita, where Maya doesn't exist for him, he is not aware of it. Maya Atita, Maya Adhisha, and Maya Adhina. He says, I am that, the immutable, the absolute, the birthless. Therefore, nothing after birth that follows doesn't apply to me. And I am Bhutanam Ishwaropi San. I am the Lord God of this universe. Parama Ishwara. Saguna Brahma. Saguna. What are those gunas? Jnana, Aishwarya, Shakti. Jnana is knowledge. Aishwarya is wealth emanating from that knowledge. Shakti is cosmic energy, power. Bala, Birja, Tejavi. Aspects of my valor. With that, I create this whole universe and I am at the top of it. So how is it all possible? Swam Pratim Adhishtaya. I am the ruler of that. And he says, Sambhavami Atma Mayaya. With that power of mine, as and when I wish, I manifest myself as a human. As soon as he says, as and when I wish, Sambhavami, I manifest myself in a human form. Immediately we pick up our ears. Oh, you are whimsical, are you? You do whatever you like, whenever you like. What type of a God are you? You are whimsical, and who is a whimsical? He's a madman who doesn't know what he is saying. He doesn't know what he is doing. He doesn't know what is his goal of life. Are you as mad as that you are born whenever you want to? To correct this misconception that may arise in our mind by reading this last word, Atma Mayaya Sambhavami. I am born by my force of Maya as and when I desire. So, to you and me, we are scared. Is he a whimsical person? He follows his whims without any rhyme or reason. Immediately he corrects himself. What does he say? Jada jada hi dharmasya, the sixth shloka. Please go to the sixth shloka. Jada jada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati he Bharata. Bharata is a name of the clan. Maharaja Bharata, the first lord, the first emperor of whole of landmass, and he named it as, instead of Aryavarta, he called it Bharatavarsha. Maharaja Bharata, Arjuna is his descendant, 4 or 5 generations later. I forget the lineage, doesn't matter. And the word Bharata has a grammatical meaning. A man of many splendors. In Arjuna, his personality has many aspects of great splendor. He was thoughtful, he was cogitative, he was a warrior, a fighter, he has controlled his passions, he has all the 6 propensities under his control, and he is a thinker. All these are excellences of his personality. That is his splendor. A man of great splendor, great, I would say, effulgence. It is palpably clear he is a man of character. Very look of him, very presence of him impresses you. That is the meaning of the word Bharata technically, philosophically. He says, look, Arjuna, don't think I am whimsical. I created this world with a purpose. What is that purpose? Eko aham bahushyam prajaya. It's from the Upanishads. I am alone. Before creation, he is alone. I would like to be many and play with myself. Concept of Leela, concept of Bhagavana and Bhagavat Leela. Lord God of the universe, before creating this universe, he felt lonely. Eko aham, I am alone, I feel lonely, I am tired of this loneliness and this boredom. I would like to be many, Bahuswam, I would like to be many. With this, he determines, I would like to be many. With his Shadbhaga Sampanna Guna, he creates this world. It is without a spirit, it is matter, material world. To make it lively, Tat Srishtva, having created, Tat Eva Anupravisat. Having created this whole cosmos, he saturated it with his own being, his spirit, his essence of existence. Thereby it means this whole cosmos, whether we see, whether it's beyond my vision, the whole cosmos is saturated by his presence. Omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent. And he created an eternal law. That eternal law has thousands of different aspects. And the word dharma, I would rather request you to know this word. Don't try to translate it. I can say eternal law and so on and so forth. But please hold on to this word because it's a beautiful suggestion etymologically. When you analyze it grammatically, dharma means Dharayate iti dharma. It is holding together. There are two forces at play in nature, as you know, centrifugal and centripetal. The whole world is spinning. Because of the spin, it has a centrifugal force. It goes to the center. At the same time, at the periphery, it goes out tangentially. It has gone out of that orbit. Dharma, dharate iti dharma. Please try to understand it on this concept. It is a basket full of noble, man-making, character-building ideas. Totally approved by that force, moral and ethical force, known as voice of conscience in every human. Voice of conscience. It keeps on telling you, don't do this, do this. Don't do this, do this. And you are supposed to follow the voice of conscience. So it is a basket full of ideas, heaps of ideas. Those ideas, when a human being holds on to it, he helps himself to go beyond his egocentric identity into the divine, holding on to which you evolve and merge your ego into the divine. That is dharma for you. What is a dharma? Centripetal force. You are absolutely surprised by what the world assures you, promises you to give. And you forget the voice of conscience that the purpose of life is God made man in the image of himself with the expectation he will find his way back to his maker, his master, his father in heaven to enjoy eternal peace in paradise with his father. Circle is completed. Here also, the divine Leela, the divine play, the Bhagavad Leela means I am born as desired by God and I follow the call of the conscience and dharma and I slowly and slowly find my way back to my maker, merge with my being. If not, I go to adharma. That is, I become a victim of my propensities and I get mixed up in this world and I forget the purpose of being born as a human. Human being, biologically and spiritually also, is a best specimen of a biological creature through a process of evolution. The concept of dharma, the concept of voice of conscience is only available to a man or a woman living on this earth. Neither to the gods nor to the beasts. Gods are a creation of my good and bad karma. They have no freedom. I have a freedom, kartum akartum annatha kartum ashakyam. Ingenuity. I will do it, I may not do it, and if I do it, I'll do it my own way. This freedom is given to you to choose what is good for you and what is not good for you. The dharma here means those heaps of values of life holding on to which the whole human society can evolve towards the divine. And adharma is moving out of that orbit and get involved in this so-called world which appears to be real but not real. Please try to remember the word dharma in this concept, which you can say Shashvata Sanatana Dharma, eternal and absolute wisdom. Anyway, he now answers to your question, are you, sir, behaving whimsically, keeping that whim with you? You will be born as and when you like. He says, no, don't make this mistake. Jada jada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati, whenever the splendor, the luster of dharma, I'll use the word dharma now, you please understand what I mean. Whenever the splendor and luster of a dharma, let me help you, the hold of voice of conscience on you loses its splendor and its luster and its hold. And because of that, you go out of your orbit and you get involved in adharma, which does not lead you to divinity. When that increases and this whole decreases, to re-establish the balance, I create myself over and over and over again. It is not whimsical, it is thoroughly planned, predicted, and executed properly. According to the desire, according to the requirement of the society. Let me read this shloka for you. Jada jada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati, he Bharata, tadatmanam srijami aham. I create myself as a human. Why? To re-establish the lost value, the lost veracity, the lost relevance, the lost requirement of dharma being uppermost with its hold, with its splendor, and with its luster. I create myself over and over and over again. And what do I do in my life? I help the people who are following dharma to establish themselves, not to be lost in this world, and to destroy the force of evil of being adharma. I help by my life, by my teachings, and the example that I set in my life to rehabilitate the lost values of dharma. Jada jada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tada atmanam srijami aham. This is it. Now in the next shloka, he tries to explain. This is an abstract statement. Please tell me, how do you help by being born a human? Paritranaya cha sadhuna. I am an unshakable help and a source of strength to salvage people under stress. They want to be dharmika, but because of the surroundings, they're unable to manifest themselves. By my birth and my life, I help them to rehabilitate themselves. sadhunam paritranaya, for the purposes of salvaging the good people who are under great oppression of the evil. The concept of good and evil has been explained this way. Forgetfulness of your values of life is evil, and remembrance is good. That has been metaphorized as good and evil, Satan and God. Satan and God, devil and God, all these, they're the same. Here it is evil and good, dharma and adharma. I, by my lifestyle, by my example, I salvage those people who try to come out of this rut, this rat hole. I help them. And those who are bent upon mischief, I stop them from perpetrating this adharma, the mischief. So, he describes the purpose for which he is born. It is not whimsical. And we find, in point of history and point of tradition and mythology, right from the days of Matsyavatara, every time as and when it is needed, avatars have come to the world, and from the traditional point of view, in a human form, Rama was born, Parashurama was born, Krishna was born, Buddha was born, Abraham and Moses was born, Christ was born, Shankara was born, Ramanuja was born, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born, and in that long list of incarnations, at present day, only 150 or 60 years ago, Sri Ramakrishna was born. So, it is being supported by facts of history. Avatara is not a old maid's tale or a fairy tale or a flight of human imagination. It is supported by facts of history. The last shloka, the 9th shloka. Let me also complete so that we start from the 10th next Sunday. Now, the ultimate question, and with this section ends. A new section starts. What is the last question? I have intellectually and rationally understood what is avatara, who is an avatara, what it means when he is born, and this and this and this. I have now totally, intellectually, rationally understood it. Now my pragmatic question. I'm a very practical, pragmatic person. Enough of your theorizing. Tell me, how do I stand to profit from this rational conviction? That, sir, you are born over and over again, though you are that, without compromising that with your Maya Shakti. You are born as a human, you live in the human society. This is a purpose for which you are born, and that is why you are born as and when required according to your thinking. Everything is understood. How does it help me? How can I reap a harvest from this wisdom of mine? The 9th shloka is the conclusion. He says, look, Arjuna, mama janma, mama karma is dibya. This is the first half of the shloka. Janma karma chame dibya. Me janma, that so-called birth of mind in a human form, let us say Krishna because we are studying the Gita, this appearance in a human form as Krishna, son of Vasudeva and Vasuki, this is Janma. And this is my karma, my whole life pattern is Divyam. Two meaning of the word Divyam. Alaukikam and Dhotanabhan. Oh my, there's no end to it. And the excellence is just overriding, flabbergasting. Divyam means you don't see in any other humans. Alaukikam. Nobody can live that way as I live. And Divyam, Dyotanabhan, it is full of effulgence. Every aspect of my life brings a new life and hope to your living. Divyam. Janma karma chame divyam. This is the first half. Ya evam beti tattatah. He who, beti means experiencing after intellectual conviction. Please let me repeat again. You understand first intellectually, and then you decide whether that conclusion is acceptable or not. And you go through doubting and suspicion and hesitancy, and ultimately you come to a rock solid, crystal clear, rational conviction. Yes, I understand what is Avataravad. And I understand it is not normal in every human. It is something divine. And I also understand each and every act and deed or a small word of the divine is effulgent, sheds a new light in my understanding, which was a dark corner, he illuminates it. That is Divyam. He who, the student who is studying the Gita, exposing himself to Avataravad, such a person, evam beti. Beti means rational conviction, rock solid, crystal clear. That leads to experiencing. I know nuggets of gold, fine particles of gold are available in the Kalgurli open area. I go there. I'm convinced it is a fact because people tell me they have gone there, they have seen it, they have got it. I go there and I scan the soil and I drive at a nugget of gold. This is conclusion of my rational conviction by experiencing and owning it. Beti means that. Ya evam beti tattatah. In itself. You now know Avataravad in itself. How? You have profited from it. And what is that profit factor? You have transformed your egocentric personality into the divine. Janma karma chame divyam. Yaha, a person. Evam baiti. This is the quantum of rational knowledge and which has led to this experiencing. Tattatah, as it is, the thing in itself. What happens to him? Does he grow two horns and a long tail in a human body? He says, no. Don't mistake. Tvakta deham, when he dies, he is not born again. He has identified himself with me, and he comes and merges with me, and that is the end of the cycle of birth and death. This is how you should profit yourself from the study of the Avatarabad section of the 4th chapter. Let me read the shloka again to complete. Janma karma cha me divyam yaha evam beti tattataha tvakta deham. When his body falls off, punarajanma naeti, he is not born again. Mameti sa Arjuna, hey Arjuna, they come and merge in me. The cycle of birth and death has come to an end. That is why Sri Krishna introduces the concept of Avataravada, so that you and me, all the students, can profit ourselves from this study and be one with the divine. With this, dear, I complete the revision. Now a big question remains. I feel honestly, sincerely, candidly, truthfully, that all this is rationally understood, but as I am today, it is beyond me. Let us be honest, we are past masters in self-deception. Let us put it aside. Let us be honest and sincere with ourselves. I feel, I can speak for myself, I feel everything said and done, everything rationally understood, but it is beyond me. Could you please teach me, O Lord? Could you please tell me, O Sri Krishna, how can I qualify myself to attain this, to achieve this? Could you kindly help me out? You have helped me so far. Now help me the methodology by means of which I can reach you. The 10th shloka starts on this vein. Vitaraga bhayakrodha manmaya mamupashritaha bahavo jnana tapasa puta matbhavam agata. We'll take up this shloka and start our onward journey from next Sunday. Thank you, dears. Thank you ever so much. God bless us all.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna